Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of From the Fourth Line. My name's Emma, and I'm joined, as always, by my lovely co-host, Marcie, otherwise known as Leafs legend Jet Alexander.
See, every week you get a different special guest.
Every week, I get a different special guest because Marcie will change her name in teams to be a different Leafs legend, and currently it is noted Leafs legend, goaltender, Jet Alexander, who has a perfect save percentage. So could he save the Toronto Maple Leafs? Because apparently everyone thinks we have a goaltending problem, which we'll talk about. We're going to talk about the Leafs, obviously, because the Leafs lost again on Tuesday. I have to remember what day of the week it was. On Tuesday. I almost said Sunday. I was like, it feels like Tuesday this week. It's not. It's Thursday.
I said it was Monday earlier. I know. Like, oh, it's Monday. I'm calling Emma. And
no. I'm like, we've already recorded Monday's episode.
And then it gets even worse because they went, oh, wait, no, it's not. It's Friday.
Which is also wrong. Which is probably more wrong than saying it's Monday, because at least if you say it's Monday, we're recording the pod. But no, it's Thursday. So yeah, Leafs versus Oilers. I feel like we have so much to unpack here, but also at the same time, like, we've just been watching the same shades of Leafs games for the past 4 games.
Yeah.
Like, we just, Tuesday's game was just the same as what we've been watching.
Yeah, it's like everyone was a disaster. Holmberg is the best player on the team.
Actually, no, technically, and we're going to talk about this. Technically, according to the impact card that came out after Tuesday's game, the best player on the Leafs was fucking TJ Brodie. And there's my F-bomb. I'm going to use it on TJ Brodie. Because... And I'm convinced... why was he he's so far removed from... visually-wise, he was so far not the best player on the ice for the Leafs. So I don't know... I was like, I don't know how statistically he is. Because... watching the game, I was like, get him off of the ice. Why is he playing top line minutes? And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about everything. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Oh, Stuart Skinner in net. Okay. He actually had a really good game. Jones had a pretty solid game. He started in net for the Leafs. Sheldon changed the lines again to be a bit more of what we were familiar with. It was very actually close to what we saw at the beginning of the season, with Tavares and Knies being on the same line with Nylander. Like, that second line, we saw it at the start of the season, and then Keefe decided it didn't work, and then he changed it, and we were all like, oh, this is so much better. Okay, and then Holmberg's still top line, of course. Can we... and now this is where I'm going to talk about how we need to take TJ Brodie off the top line, the top D pair.
Yeah. Please. It's not working.
Why are we having Timothy Liljegren in the bottom D pair with Mark Giordano? Why are we protecting his minutes like that?
It's like, because it's so obvious that Liljegren shouldn't, he needs to be top D pair, getting the minutes, because he's good.
Yeah, and spoiler
he's
alert.
He's not causing me that much misery at the moment.
No. And spoiler alert, Leafs had their morning skate. Actually, it was technically this afternoon because of the time change, but this morning they had their morning skate in Calgary because that's who they play tonight at 9 Eastern. Woohoo! TJ Brodie is still on the top line with Morgan Rielly, and Timothy Liljegren is still on the bottom line with Mark Giordano. I am, however, really liking the Benoit McCabe pair. I think that's a great shutdown line. Really well. And they work really well together. They're two very similar players in terms of how they defend, which is hit the crap out of people. And it works. Yeah. I will say, though, that first period, I had nothing wrong with the first period of that game. Nothing wrong.
I enjoyed it. To say it was a 2 a.m. start, I enjoyed it. So if we could have, like, all 3 periods be like that for us tonight, that'd be great, because it's another 2 a.m. start for me in the middle of my exams. So I need happiness.
I'll do you one better, though. Like, if we have full games where it's like that first period and the Leafs don't give up after first intermission, a Stanley Cup final series between the Oilers and the Leafs, 7 games.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Top tier entertainment. That would be so good. So good. The only problem is Leafs have to continue playing like they did that first period, and they have to get to the finals first. I think the Oilers could actually do it. I think they could do it.
Yeah.
Especially with how they've been playing recently in the past 11 games. 11 games. But I think the Leafs, it's the Leafs that have to get there first. And if they keep playing like they did that first period, they can. They have to, like, anyways. Another note I had as well, because we are from the fourth line. I think that game was the best, at least the first period, because the whole team looked bad after that. The best the fourth line has looked in the past 4 games, which is saying just how bad it's been before that, because they didn't even look that good. Like,
like, the amount of times I wanted to just scream into my pillow. I don't even want to watch tonight.
No, because actually I don't like. I'm trying to think if there's any former Leafs on the Flames. There is former Flames on the Leafs, though. We got some couple Flames legends. Mark Giordano, TJ Brody, and Calle Yarncroke. I think, you know what, Sheldon? For a bit of nostalgia, for good old time's sake, because you're in Calgary, TJ Brody and Mark Giordano used to be D partners in Calgary. Fun fact. I think, you know what? Put it back together. Also, I'm realizing how much of an idiot I am, because I just said, I don't know if there's any former Leafs on the Flames. Nazem Kadri's a Calgary Flame, and I don't know why I forgot that. Embarrassing.
That's going on the list.
Oh, yeah, just greatest hits. Yeah. That's the only former Leaf I can tell from just my eye test. Oh, but AJ Greer. Remember that guy from Florida? No, was it? No, he was with Boston last year. Not Florida. He was with Boston. I do, however, remember how much he pissed me off whenever the Bruins would play the Leafs. But yeah, I also just have Benoit fixing his own mistake.
Love that for him.
Yeah.
Look at him go.
Honestly, he made a bad pass to McCabe and then, like, dove across the ice to make the block.
He flew.
He flew. But like
but
that just it just shows like how much Benoit has been really great for this team in terms of providing a shade of defenseman that like Luke Shen sort of was, but we didn't really have before Luke Shen. Because some would argue being like, that's what Justin Hall was supposed to be, right? Justin Hall isn't fast, okay? We've been over this so many times on the show about how he's not a fast skater. Benoit's a faster skater and is willing. Sorry, Justin Hall doesn't throw a lot of hits. This is just me. This is just turned into me bashing on Justin Hall has his perks as a player in your lineup. I'm not going to say that he doesn't.
Have you seen him throw?
if you're looking for
What
a
an
man,
arm.
if you're looking for a hockey player with a good arm, which I don't know why you would, Justin Hall's your man. But
he's a multi-sport athlete, and that's what I think a lot of people forget.
Also as well, you know what? We also got through a game without any former Leafs scoring goals that counted.
Yeah.
That didn't get overturned. Zach Hyman had actually a really beautiful goal that got overturned for a very obvious offside. And I will say, people diss on the offside reviews, saying they take too long. That is how offside reviews should work. Quick,
Yes.
like goal goes in, video team is like, actually, that's offside right away. It's all of 2 seconds. That I understand. Also, that one was like very much offside. But that also leaves the Leafs video team undefeated this season. So at least we're winning one thing.
Yeah, they're consistent in 2 things now, which is losing and disappointing us, and video reviews.
Woo!
You know, we said we wanted consistency.
Yeah. I will say, though, like, this team needs to start standing up for their own players. We saw with the Evan Bouchard cross-check into Matthew Nyes. Like, Matthew Nyes goes down, and he sort of looks up, at the ref to be like, hey, did you see that? And also almost like at his own teammates to be like, hey, did you guys see that? Are you guys going to do anything about that? And no one did anything about that.
It's like, I'm not being funny.
That's your rookie right there. That's your rookie. Stand up
that
for
is
him.
your team child. That is bad parenting. John, I'm looking at you.
I will say also as well, like, people, we will also talk about the Mitch Marner postgame comments, but I do want to kind of jump ahead because I want to talk about goaltending, but we can't talk about goaltending without talking about possible solutions for the Leafs at this point in time. Within their current roster lineup, because Treliving has been very, not very vocal, but he's been, well, GMs being very vocal is an oxymoron. So he's been vocally opposed to making mid-season moves and doesn't want to sell any prospects or picks. So, which honestly is fair. Leafs don't have a lot of picks right now. And also they don't want to sell any of their prospects, which makes sense because I also agree with that because I'm emotionally attached to them. So
yeah, they're a little
guys,
like,
you know?
Not even for the team, they're just ours.
They're ours, yeah. Fraser Mitten, Easton Cohen, you're our little guys.
Our children.
Our children who are lighting up the CHL right now. I don't know if you've been seeing some of their highlights on Twitter. Fraser Mitten scored last night for the Saskatoon Blazers. And I think 2 nights ago, Easton Cohen had like a beauty of an assist. He's been on fire in terms of anyways. I
cannot wait for them to be full-time Leafs.
Oh yeah. So some solutions that I just have one, the big one, and the one that we've been saying now for like 3 episodes in a row now, I feel like. Move Brody from the top pair. Switch Brody and Liljegren. Put Brody with Mark Giordano. Reunite him with his old line mate. And give Liljegren some chance up there with Riley. I think, one, it's a great way to reward Liljegren for how good he's been playing. B, it also will provide some sort, it'll be a learning opportunity for Liljegren as well. Yes, Mark Giordano is a wealth of defensive knowledge. And part of that is just becomes with his accolades as a player, but also the fact that he's the oldest player in the league. But Morgan Riley is also, unfortunately, pushing turning 30 this,
no, he's just not the...
Yeah, and also is considered a veteran player, is a league veteran. That's weird to say. And is a very talented player, very good player, and Liljegren can learn from him as well, and also can just learn from being in scenarios that have him on that top pair. Also, solidify a third line that works. Find a third line that works, please. Find a fourth line that's not just like David Kampf and two guys. As much as I love Gregor and McMahon, it's not working. And maybe part of that is just because what you have is like the core for David Kampf, Cal Yarncroke, and some guys. And maybe part of that is because you fired your GM after one comment he made 5 weeks before the draft. Maybe that's why your team. Maybe there's your problem, Brendan Shanahan. If you had Kyle not to talk about the X that way, but like, you had Kyle Dubas. Also, split up Matthews and Marner for more than one game, please. I don't know, Sheldon, if you're familiar with the concept of doing a drill more than once. You know, this is always logic I use when I'm coaching ski racing, is like, if I'm doing a drill with a group, we do the drill one for one run, then we do it again, and then we do it again, and then we do it again, and then maybe then we stop if we see that it's working, and we go on to something new. Sheldon,
it's like,
don't just do it one game. The message doesn't get across if you do it for one game, because it shows that it's like, oh, we just have to get through one game not being on the same line, and then we can go back to being on the same line. Like,
it's like, Sheldon, control your children.
Sheldon, it's okay to be the bad guy. Like, Sheldon Keefe, Mr. Sheldon Keefe, Mr. Keefe, Mr. Head Coach, broski. Do I have to call you pal, buddy? Like, friend?
Oh, friend.
It's okay to be the bad guy. You're the coach. You have to discipline your, like, I'm not saying being John Tortorella. I'm just saying your player, it's okay if your players don't always like you 100% all of the time.
Yeah, because it's like, if your players do like you 100% all of the time,
that's what was happening in Ottawa.
You're not doing your job.
Look where Ottawa is now. Not they A, fired that coach, B, bottom of the standings in the Atlantic.
Yeah, Sheldon, Keith, buddy, do you want
broski, pal, friend, not the broski, it's broski, not boss, man, whatever I have to call you to get it through your head. Also as well, use Lagesson. I don't know why we're not using. He's there, right? We've seen him. He's there.
Yeah, he's very much
there.
He's just ready and waiting.
Don't use Connor Timmins. Use Lagesson. I actually loved how Lagesson looked when he's in the lineup. When he was in the lineup when Giordano and Liljegren were hurt. Use him. Yeah. I don't know why he's not getting used. This like goes back to the thing that like everyone was saying was happening last year with Kerfoot and Hall, and how Keith had his guys and he stuck with his guys, and there is this Sheldon. I'm gonna pull up this Sheldon Keefe quote. I have to find it again, but you sent it. Here we go. Sheldon Keefe. This was yesterday. Actually, no, this was today. No, yesterday. I'm trying to remember what day it is. It's yesterday. After 40, this one, Joshua Cloak. After 42 games, I still have questions about who I can rely on.
Sheldon.
Well, then try other guys.
After 42 games, you should not be questioning who you can rely on. This should not be happening through the season.
Also, I know there's been a lot of conversation about John Tavares getting old. That's also issues surrounding his speed. You can always see it. The speed is something you can always see, right? You don't have to be a hockey genius to see the lack of speed. Try taking John Tavares off of center. One game.
Yeah, just
see how it looks. See how he feels body-wise, and also just see like, hey, it's working because we don't have someone who's slow as our center. Yeah, because yeah,
those
are my solutions. That's what I'm proposing. So
yeah, I agree. Like I just think that Sheldon Keefe, I love you and your silly little grey suits and your.
He was wearing maroon the other night.
Oh,
did you see that?
It up.
I know.
It was a lot, and I love him and his suits and his ever reddening face. But like, can he please just take a step back and just think, what am I doing? Because I think self-evaluation is a very good thing, and he appears to just not be doing it.
I will say, though, that Sheldon Keefe quote, the one where it's like, after 42 games, I still have questions on who I can rely. That's not just a message to the players. It's also a message to Brad Treliving.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, Brad, this team that you put together is not working. Make changes before March 8th.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about how the trade market may have gotten a little bit more interesting in a little bit when we talk about Minnesota. But also as well, want to bring up Marner's post-game quotes that were greatly misreported on Twitter. If you go and you watch, because I know no one has time to go and watch like 12 minutes of the Leafs post-game, and they usually just like look on Twitter and they're like, oh, this is what's being said because it's being posted by the beat reporters. If you are angry at Mitch Marner because of what you saw on Twitter, take the time and go watch his like 4 minutes. It's literally probably 4 minutes. I can bet you it's probably not longer than 4 minutes. His 4 minutes of post-game quotes from the Edmonton game, because the quotes that were being reported were wrong.
Yeah.
Luke Fox, not to just pile onto one guy, but Luke Fox was the big one.
Yeah, he was the first one that tweeted it, I think. He was the first one I saw that tweeted it, because I have everyone's notifications on.
Yeah, here we go. Luke Fox saying, Mitch Marner says the Leafs aren't frustrated. We got to ignore what everyone else says. We know we're a great hockey team. We show up every night. I mean, this last 4 games that we had leads, we've played some awesome hockey, some great hockey, which is true because the Leafs have played at least 1 period per game of good hockey because that's how they get the leads, right? No shit. No shit, Sherlock. Way to go. But also, if you go and watch the actual quote, people are getting mad because he sounds like he's like, it's whatever. Like, we're playing whatever. We're losing. It's fine that we're losing. We're playing good hockey. If you go and you watch he opens up with the sentence that is taken out of context with, yeah, we're pissed. Not saying, yeah, we're frustrated. We're pissed. We're mad. There's a difference between being mad and being frustrated, because you can be mad at situations, whatever, but you can, anyways, I'm not going to get into the technicality of it, but also it's like that was taken out of context, and now you've got more people being mad at the team, being mad at specifically Mitch Marner because he's the one who said it, and he's also leadership in the room. And then that piles on, and then he's asked about it next time about his comments, and then it's like it's a the media cycle. Leafs media, you wonder why, in the words of Brian O'Reilly, the lights are too bright in Toronto.
Yeah, it's like it annoys me because it's like, why? It's like every single time that a quote is taken out of context and like chopped in half, it's always something Mitch has said.
Yeah.
And it's like, can you stop trying to demonize Mitch Marner, please? Because he's very much just as annoyed as we are. Like, he's a lot more annoyed than we are because
he probably is more annoyed than we are because he's the one playing and he's the one whose words are taken out of context. Also, it's like, he's no move clause right now, and maybe I don't know if that would be like the Leafs. Probably the Leafs will not shop around a no movement clause Mitch Marner and then go to him and be like, hey, you want to trade? But also, like, his contract's up in 2 years? He, like, not that I'm saying he's going to leave, but if he has to put up with 2 more seasons of this crap, He might. Now clip that and come back to me in 2 years, and you guys can all call me idiots. Marcie's regretting every life decision she's made up until this point to get into
The thought of Mitch. No, I can't even say it.
But, like, you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not saying that he's going. You have to think of it in a way where it's like Mitch Marner may just get sick of it and be like, as much as it is a dream to play for the Leafs, as much as I love being a Toronto Maple Leaf, because there's no one who bleeds blue more than Mitch Marner.
No.
No one.
He is like the Toronto Maple Leaf.
Yeah. There's no one on that roster who bleeds blue more than Mitch Marner.
No.
No one. No one. So, like, if it's up to him and he had no other outside influences, he would be here forever.
Mm.
But if the media keeps going like that, he might just say, I'm going to go, you know what? I'm going to go play in Columbus, St. Louis, Dallas. I'm trying to think of Carolina.
Duh.
San Jose. Right?
No, because the way I'm about to have an actual breakdown thinking about what happens if one day Mitch Marner is no longer a Leaf.
No, because I think this team is mad. I think this team is mad that they're not playing. But I also want to say, like, I will say one criticism though. Okay, yeah, you can be mad. You can also be frustrated that you're losing. You're allowed to be frustrated that you're losing. You can try and look for the bright side and say, oh, but we're playing some great hockey. Okay, yeah, but some amazing hockey that's not resulting in wins is not going to win you a Stanley Cup. It's not going to win. It isn't the Stanley Cup of some great hockey.
Yeah. It's
because the San Jose Sharks could say we're playing some great hockey. Right? They could. They could. Are they winning right now? No. I think they still haven't won. I think I actually don't know if they won it. When was the last time they won a game?
It's been a while. It has been a while.
But no, because they lost to the Blackhawks.
Oh yeah, I was rooting for him so hard. I just wanted just one win. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, no, they haven't. They're still on their losing streak.
Yay.
Yeah, no, because they haven't won. Because they lost to Buffalo and then they lost Ottawa and they're still on their losing streak. But yeah, so like the Sharks could be saying they're playing some bad hockey. Not some bad hockey. The Sharks could be saying they're playing some good hockey. They're still losing.
Yeah.
This team needs to get mad. This team needs to get mad that they're not winning. Because it sounds like they don't care about winning. Which is a problem.
Yeah. It's like, I don't care if you played quite possibly the worst game of hockey in your career. If you still win that game, that's better than playing one period of good hockey.
Because it's not how, it's how many. And at the end of the season, we're going to look back at the Leafs record and we're going to be like, how many? We're not going to say how, because who cares about the how? If you are missing the playoffs, it's not how, it's how many. You know, we could be like, oh, they missed the playoff, but you know, they played some pretty good hockey here and there. So what? They're still their season's done in April. And like Leafs have like a pretty good rest of the like they're 5 games out from, not including tonight, they're 5 games out from the All-Star break. I have the schedule. Their schedule right in front of me, in my calendar. I have the Leafs schedule written out in my Pittsburgh Penguins and Paws dog calendar.
I love that.
Mr. January is Ryan Graves, in case you were wondering.
Favorite lesbian.
But yeah, but it's like they play Calgary tonight, then they play back-to-back Vancouver, Seattle, and then they go home to play Winnipeg, and then they play Winnipeg on the road. Winnipeg's the best team in the league right now. And then they play the New York Islanders at home. And then it's the All-Star break. That's not an easy end to your schedule. But like not end to your schedule, but like that's not an easy way to go into the All-Star break.
No, that's rough.
No.
But I just think I wish like the amount of money I would pay to be a fly on the wall in the locker room after that game last night.
No. Not the locker room, the meeting they had the next day. Sheldon said that they had a team meeting the next day.
A lengthy team meeting.
A lengthy team meeting. Fly on the wall to be there.
Bollocks them.
And probably Joseph Wool sitting in there like, I didn't do jack shit.
Yeah, he just sat there in the corner like, no, they've got everyone else like sat around like all like hanging their heads in shame, keeps yelling at him, and then you've just got Joseph Wool in the corner playing with his little Legos. He was like, ooh. A new bag.
Yeah, so also as well, like people are giving crap for Sheldon for practicing their practice yesterday and just doing the guys who were scratched. And then the only guy who played yesterday was Benoit. Was at that practice, which I don't know what that means. I don't know if he was just like, I'm gonna show up because I want to, which in that case makes him look really good.
Yeah,
because he didn't even have that bad of a game, and he's still there at the practice the next day.
Yeah, I think that kind of, if that's the reason why, then that's making him look really, really good, because it's like he's the only one. If that is the reason, he's the only one that's actually taking the frustration and doing something about it.
Yeah.
Which we need more of, because you can be frustrated all you want, but if you don't act on it and if you don't try to do something about it, then you're just going to be frustrated forever, and it's going to piss everyone off.
Yeah. Also as well, because I know you guys are asking. Yes, Joseph Wool was on the ice for that practice. Apparently, we didn't see any photographic proof of that. As much as I feel like I was this close to just straight up like adding freaking like David Alter and being like, hey, can you where's the wall? Can you send a picture of Joseph Wool on the ice, please? But he was apparently there on the ice with the rest of the healthy scratches, so that would have been like Lagesson, Robertson, Reeves, who I guess is healthy. Like, is Ryan Reeves healthy and he's just not getting played? Who knows?
Maybe he's still like.
But he's in like when they post the practice lines, he's listed as an extra with Robertson. I'm trying to think of who else is Lagesson, Robertson, Reeves. Who else is not? Connor Timmins. Trying to think if there's anybody else. I think those are the only 4 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense in my head. Also as well, so Jones to start tonight against Calgary. Okay, so does that mean that you're starting? Does that mean you're starting him? You have to start Samsonov either against Vancouver or Seattle.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't. So I think Seattle. Would you want to start Samsonov against Vancouver?
Jones and like put him in. No, I am not.
So, and also in night for Calgary, Dan Vladar in net. I tweeted this out, but with a .885 save percentage on the season. Dan Vladar, get ready for the best game of your career. Get ready to look like a Vezina winning goalie.
Bets on him shutting us out.
I'd actually, if I was into sports betting, I'd put that down. So yeah, again, Saturday, hockey night in Canada. Actually, it's hockey day in Canada on Saturday. It's like a whole thing. There's like there's like a whole big broadcast starting at like 1 if you live in Canada on Sportsnet. Versus Vancouver, and then Seattle on Sunday in the back-to-back to finish off the West Coast road trip. So that's all we're going to talk about, like the current Leafs. Let's talk about some Leafs legends. News yesterday that Tyler Ennis, Leafs legend Tyler Ennis, announced his retirement from hockey due to a neck injury he suffered in November playing in the German Championship Hockey League. He's been playing in Europe for the last 2 seasons. He played for SC Bern in Switzerland last year, and then played for Adler Mannheim in Germany this season. He played 700 exactly. Way to go, Tyler, on that one. NHL games and scored 144 goals in his career. He played for Buffalo, which is the team that drafted him, Minnesota, Toronto, Ottawa, and Edmonton. He was on the Toronto Maple Leafs 2018-2019 roster where he played 51 games for the club. Leafs legend, Tyler Ennis.
Leafs legend. No, because I saw his Instagram post earlier yesterday. And I was like, it was like, thank you. And I was
it just said like, thank you, Mannheim.
Yeah, and I was like, what? I don't like the sound of that. Mr. Leafs legend.
Mr. Leafs legend.
What are you doing? What's going on? And then I checked Twitter and it's like,
yeah, it's official.
Surprise! He's retired. And I'm like, fuck. I use my fork.
Congratulations to Tyler Ennis. This is more than 700 NHL games could ever get you. Greater honor. But yeah, like also, I don't know if I just kind of wanted to take a minute to reflect on that 18-19 roster. What do you?
No, just Matthew Knight said, we're just trying to stay strong mentally.
Oh, yeah, I did actually watch that this morning. I found it very interesting how they asked both Mark Giordano and Matthew Knies if they are more sore. In different contexts, of course. Mark Giordano being just that he's just old, like if his body just hurts more, that he's older. And Matthew Knies being like, obviously, the 21-year-old rookie. Hey, are you more sore now that you're playing more games than you have when you were with when you were in college? It was very funny. I thought that comparison, that side by side, was very funny. But if you look at the Maple Leafs 2018-2019 roster, I wanted to just a second to just like take a look at that roster. I just want to read some names. I'm looking at this and it makes me smile. Obviously we have like our core guys, you know, you got your Mitch Marner, your John Tavares, your Austin Matthews, your Morgan Riley, your William Nylander, but like, let me just continue listing off some guys. Kasperi Kapanen. He put up 20 goals that season.
Nice.
Yeah. Nazem Kadri. Andreas Johnson. Zach Hyman. Patrick Marleau. Jake Gardiner. Connor Brown. Travis Dermott. Jake Muzzin. Nikita Zaitsev. Trevor Moore, who apparently, according to LA Kings fans, should be an all-star. Okay. Justin Hall. Frederick Anderson was in net. Remember Garrett Sparks? Michael Hutchinson. Just Frederick Gauthier. Tyler Ennis. Ron Hainsey. Remember Ron Hainsey? Like, you look at that team, and it's like, that is such, like, oh.
Leafs legends, a lot of them.
Leafs legends, top to bottom. It's full of like all those guys now who we are like, oh yeah, I can't wait for like Connor Brown to score against us. Thank God he didn't, because that would have been his first goal of the game. But it's like, you know, that team. Anyways, that team just so full of hope, aspirations, only to lose in the playoffs. 7 games to to Washington.
So leafy.
That was the Washington series. Was it? No, it wasn't. That was the Washington series. I'm trying to like go back in my head, work backwards. Like Mike Babcock was. Oh no, it was Bruins. The third time. No, Washington was the year before. But yeah, anyways, it's like you look back at it. Anyways, it's just something where it's like, go look back at the roster of like the 2018-2019 Leafs and like reminisce a little bit. Wish Tyler Ennis all the best. Hope you I don't know, have fun hanging out with Tyson Barrie and Mark McMorris. Like, it's weird because he's friends with Mark McMorris, which is so random to me in my head. Because, like, anyways, childhood crush of mine was Mark McMorris. You know, every 4 years the Winter Olympics come around and Mark McMorris is there on a snowboard. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe Thornton also as well. San Jose Sharks announced that they will retire Joe Thornton's number 19 at some point during during next season, so the 24-25 season. Leafs legend Joe Thornton.
Leafs legend.
He's also just a legend. He's also just a legend of the game. One of those guys that, unfortunately never won a cup.
Yeah.
Really, really should have. Goes into that same box of like Patrick Marleau, like deserves a cup. Never won one. Spent too much of his career with San Jose. Then went to the Leafs to try and win it with the Leafs, childhood team. And then went back to San Jose, like retires, gets their jersey retired. Yeah. Also, just talk about some injury news. Linus Ullmark back with the Boston Bruins. I called this about 2 days ago.
You did.
The Bruins, they didn't make I can't remember if they made an official. They did actually. The Bruins made an official announcement that they had sent Brandon Bussey back to Providence, and didn't announce anything else. And I was like, Ullmark's coming back. And then, they didn't play for 2 days, and there was no other announcement. And because I was like, they have no other goalie. They can't play with one goalie. And then it was announced that
he's back.
He's back. Swayman's getting the start. Ullmark will be backing him up, but is back from injury, which is good. Return of the goalie hugs. Also,
I was just thinking, I was like, goalie hugs.
That's the thing where I was like, they've won. Like the Boston Bruins have won a couple of games. And
it's been tragic. No
one to hug. Also as well, Vegas Golden Knights announced on Tuesday that forward Jack Eichel underwent lower body surgery after an injury suffered in Thursday night's game versus Boston, listed as week to week. So the thing is, Jack Eichel left the game during the second period versus Boston, came back, scored the game-winning goal, and then underwent surgery. Like it said, like after the game, you'll be fine. Gonna take a couple days. Turns out fine is
surgery, apparently.
Lower body surgery. Again, they didn't say exactly, like undisclosed what part of lower body is lower body, like where. List this week. Unfortunate though, like Jack Eichel, you thought the injury stuff that he suffered, especially like the reason why he's in Vegas is because Buffalo said no to him getting surgery, the next surgery. So you like kind of hoped that his injuries and those issues were kind of behind him, but it's unfortunate that he's going to have to miss more time, especially for the Vegas Golden Knights. He's been playing fantastic for them.
He's been like on a roll.
Yeah, so, but some good Vegas Golden Knights news. They announced this week that they got a team puppy.
They got a dog!
His name is Maverick, and he's adorable.
Oh, he's so...
Go over to like the Vegas Golden Knights socials and just look at. He's like a cute little golden retriever pup, golden lab, absolute cutie pie. His name is Maverick, which is cute. Yeah.
Oh.
I just wanted to throw. I want to like. Someone's got to go through and like keep track of all like the team dogs we've got in the league, because love it. Like PWHL Ottawa, like they got a team dog. His name is Lando. He's also such a little cutie pie. They got a team dog.
Get team dogs.
Congratulations to Lando for being like the first PWHL team dog. I think that's pretty cool. Love that. But yeah, so let's talk about the Minnesota Wild though.
Brock Faber.
Well, Brock Faber, get ready to play 30 minutes a night. But so the good news is though that the reason I always wanted to bring up the Wild during this episode, but the reason why I wanted to do it is because Marc-Andre Fleury, with the Wild's 6-0 win over the New York Islanders, Marc-Andre Fleury passes Patrick Roy in all-time wins for a goalie with 552.
It's beautiful. We love to see it.
Now, he'll never catch Martin Brodeur's, 600, because that's crazy. He'll have to play...
Don't doubt him.
He'd have to play, 5 more years to get there.
Don't doubt him.
I'm just
Who
saying...
Who are you to doubt Marc-Andre Fleury?
Apologies to Marc-Andre Fleury. Please don't hide my clothes. I like... They're also, as well, this was a kind of a thing where I was like, this has to be absolute crazy talk. And I don't want to talk about, we're not here to talk about crazy rumors. But this was a crazy rumor that I saw. So 2 years ago, Leafs tried to seriously acquire Fleury from Chicago before he was traded to Minnesota. But it wasn't clear if Fleury would waive to come to Toronto. Pierre LeBrun said that his sense is that he warmed up to the idea and would be willing to waive his clause to join the Leafs. Though Brad Treliving appears to be prioritizing blue line help ahead of the NHL trade deadline on March 8th. Okay, this is where I wanted to save the conversation about Leafs goaltending, was specifically for that tweet, because as much as I would love Marc-Andre Fleury to be on the Leafs, because I love Marc-Andre Fleury, the Leafs don't need goaltending help right now. People are acting as if Joseph Woll has disappeared off the face of the planet Earth, which, he kind of has, because we haven't seen him in, 4 weeks. But he's not dead. He's injured, and he's coming back from injury. He's back on the ice. We'll probably see him after the All-Star break. I'm sure of it. I don't want to guarantee anything. But, we'll see him after the All-Star break. He'll be back.
He will be back for February the 19th.
Martin Jones has been fine. Samsonov, okay, he had to take some time away. But, his game against Detroit was fine.
Good.
Goaltending actually is probably the last area we need help right now.
Yeah. What a 180 that's done.
But so again, I also don't know what would you get, why was that? I don't know why that makes sense. I don't that's the thing where I was gonna talk. I was as much as I would love Marc-Andre Fleury to come to the Leafs, unfortunately, it would be the wrong place for Treliving to put his priorities. But, you could potentially see the Wild looking to make some trades coming up to the draft. Not the draft. Coming up to the trade deadline, not the draft. Because of, it was announced all of 5 minutes before we started recording, that, I want to just make sure I get this wording right, that Captain Jared Spurgeon will miss the remainder of the season due to injury. Minnesota Wild, he is scheduled to have left hip surgery on February 6th, and will then have back surgery approximately 4 weeks later. Sure, he's expected to make a full recovery before the start of training camp in September. That is rough. That does, however, give the Minnesota Wild some much-needed cap playroom to play with at the trade deadline. Frees about, with LTIR and stuff, frees them about $7.75 million. Now, it's not a permanent, but like they will be, you know, throwing their hat into the ring for a expiring deal UFA defenseman.
Yeah.
Because Brock Faber cannot keep playing 30 minutes a night, unfortunately.
But you're right. He's not going to keep playing 30 minutes a night. He's up to 60.
Full game. He's on the ice all the time. No breaks.
Lace those skates up. Fucking triple knot them.
You're going out there, Brock. But yeah, it's unfortunate for Spurgeon. You know, losing their captain to injury is not the greatest thing, and the Minnesota Wild have had a rough season as it is, new coach and everything else they've got going on for them. So it's unfortunate that he will miss the rest of the season. Hopefully he does make a speedy recovery and will be back to full health come September, come the start of training camp. I will say, though, hip and back surgery is miserable, especially when he has like 4 kids.
Ouch.
There goes your summer of golf. But yeah, so obviously that, you know, Minnesota Wild grow the ever-growing list of teams who are looking for like an expiring UFA defenseman at the trade deadline. Like, get in line. There's a long lineup in front of you.
A lot of people.
Leafs are in that line, theoretically. I think people are saying, you know. Also, in case you've missed it, I'm going to talk about it because it's ridiculous. Connor Dewar got a haircut.
It's so bad.
It's so bad. Like, the jokes were already starting with the Wild's game against the Islanders, which is when he debuted it. And you couldn't really tell what it fully looked like because his hair was wet in like his like intermission interview and like his post game stuff. Like, you couldn't really tell what it looked like. There's a picture of it that got posted of him with a tie. It's a bowl cut.
He looks like a monk.
It's a pure and true Will from Stranger Things season 1 bowl cut. Straight around. And he can't have done that willingly.
No.
So my thoughts are A, what bet did he lose? Or B, did he come last in the Minnesota Wild's fantasy football league? And that was like the loser punishment was get like a haircut of the commissioner's wish or something. If that case, who is the commissioner? We need to have words, because what did you do to him? You've massacred my boy. It's so funny though, because he's in a picture with like, oh my god, he's in a picture with like Brock Faber. Brock looks great. Hi, Brock. And then I think, actually, I don't know the other 2 Minnesota Wild players because a lot of them look
the same.
Yeah. So I'm now looking up their headshots. Hold on. I want to say one of them is Merrill. No, Merrill's blonde, isn't he?
Mm-mm.
No. So it is maybe John one Merrill of them is Merrill.
No, John Merrill.
It's not John Merrill. No. Marcus Johansson. That's one of them. Look at me go. I'm so good at. Or is it Frederick Gaudreau? No, it's Gaudreau. Frederick Gaudreau. I'm trying to match the. I don't know who the second one is. Stop growing. Is it? No, it's not Mermis. It's one of the. I can't tell you who the other one is. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm like. Marcie could probably see. I'm like looking at these. I can't tell who it is.
Do you want to see something of nightmares?
Is that your phone background?
No, I just zoomed in on the picture. I did not set the bowl cut of my phone background.
I dare you to do that.
I have self-respect.
I dare you to set the Connor Dewar bowl cut pictures your phone background.
Because I like my current phone background. Thank you very much.
What is your current phone background?
It's my little. I need to get rid of my Duolingo notification. It's my little Joseph Wall one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You can't make me get rid of that.
Mine is me and Simon at his staff
Aww.
Christmas party. Yeah, it's very
Nice.
cute.
That's such a cute picture.
I know, it's a very cute picture.
And then if you squint, you can see me in the background.
You behind the curtain of like red streamers.
I'm there in a Santa's hat.
Yeah, I even like my lock screen too. My lock screen's the black and white picture of the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So I think I have a pretty cool.
Like the matching background.
The matching. That's really cute. I've never been one, like my backgrounds have always been like actual pictures and not, I don't know. I've never been one to put like hockey players or, I think the furthest I've gone is the Hockey Hall of Fame, but it's like subtle.
Yeah, mine's like usually like I've got a little cycle of pictures that I took when I was on my dig in Scotland, which I'm actually getting one of the pictures tattooed in a little stamp at Easter when I go home.
Oh, that's so cool.
Which
mine for the longest time, mine literally for like 4 years before I changed it like a month ago, was a picture. It literally was the same thing for like, I think actually more than 4 years now at this point. I think it was like pre-COVID. I had this set as my background. Was a picture from when me and my sister were little of us skiing with my parents. Yeah.
That's so cute.
I thought it was really cute. And it is that literally I've gotten I think I've gone through like, I've gotten 3 different phones. And it's always been that. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, I've gone through 3 different phones.
No, I have the 2 different ones in like rotation. I have this one when I'm at uni, and then I every time like I go home or my parents come to visit, I have to swap it to the Scotland pictures because I don't want my dad to be like, why is there a drawing of a man?
Who's Joseph Wall?
Well, he knows who Joseph Wall is. I have the fucking... Sorry, Keith.
I told Marcie this, but it's so funny though, because we mentioned my dad at the start of last podcast, and he then texted my mother about it and was like, I really loved how I got mentioned on the podcast. And then my mom had called me unrelated and like mentioned it. And then I guess maybe like my dad must have called her, like she must have talked to my dad on the phone or whatever. And so then my dad texts me, love the mention on the podcast, and then went on to complain about the audio levels. I was like, thanks, Dad.
Something with you, Keith.
Always something.
Always something.
Now we're mentioning it at the end, so now we can, closer to the end of the show, so we can test him.
How dedicated of a fan are you?
Is he listening to the whole thing? Is he listening to the whole show? He listens
How
to the
much do you really like your child?
We'll see. Like, it's like a test, you know. See how. Well, because I think he listens to them on the car ride on his like drives to work, where he has to drive like from like Mississauga to Scarborough across the city.
I'm not gonna. He's brave for that, because I could think of absolutely nothing worse than sitting and listening to an entire car journey of my voice.
I feel you, but like it's not him talking, so it's like you know, but
free entertainment.
Sorry, I just got a text. One of my friends. Oh my god, I had like Discord notifications popping up. One of my friends named a Pokemon after me. I'm like so confused. I'm getting. We've totally fallen off. What is this going? Looping it back. We like got distracted. We were talking about phone backgrounds for a second.
Oh, we are so annoying.
You know what I was thinking about? This is what our like the episode, the Monday after All-Star, the All-Star break, is All-Star weekend's gonna be like. Oh, because we're gonna run out of things to talk about so quickly.
We're just gonna like. Let's give like a 10-second silence, and I'm just gonna be like, I had pizza for tea yesterday. We'll talk about like what we had for dinner. Just the usual. shit
Yeah.
chatting.
Also as well, hold on, I'm just trying to open up this one. Here we go. Because I did want to talk about some trade boards, because I think, we're nearing the All-Star break, and so that means we're nearing February, which means we're nearing March. But that just means, like, usually you see more trades happen after the All-Star break in terms of stuff happening before it's not usually all on deadline day anymore. It's more
Like
spread out.
I don't know. I hope we get some dramatic trades. But I'm gonna regret doing that, because then one of my favorite players is gonna end up getting traded, and it's gonna be like it's gonna
Rasmus Sandin 2.0.
Because like I'm so scared that one of my favorite little blobbers is just gonna go.
Yeah. I mean, the big one that everyone's been talking about is Jake Guentzel with Pittsburgh. I feel like we haven't talked about Pittsburgh in a while. Everyone's saying that, but then Kyle Dubas came out and said he's not going anywhere. So, but also Kyle Dubas is known to trade guys with a high ceiling somewhere else. Like, no offense to Jake Guentzel, but like he's exactly the type of player that Kyle Dubas would have traded with the Leafs.
Oh yeah. Like if he was with the Leafs,
right?
Don't even bother unpacking.
Well, yeah, just prepare mentally, But like I feel like the Flames are gonna be, big sellers. With just they have a lot of expiring contracts, and there's a lot of teams that are looking like, we could see Chris Tanev go to the Wild. That could be an option for them.
Yeah.
But also as well, like Tarasenko's another name to look out for, with Ottawa. Also as well, like, not Dominic Kubalik. There's now these talks about, oh my God, Ottawa defenseman. Why am I blanking on names? Oh God, this is embarrassing. I live here. Chychrun. Jacob Chychrun. There's now been increased talks about him going somewhere, but because apparently, according to rumors, he's not happy with Ottawa, except this is also the same man who, like, cried tears of joy, like, when he, like, signed with Ottawa, because he really loved Ottawa, which confuses me why he would love. Apparently, he really loves Ottawa, which is so funny for a man from Florida. Maybe, you know what? Maybe you know what it is? It's just gotten really cold here in Ottawa. It's like finally been like winter. We've had like literally like no sun in like 2 weeks. It's been stormy and cold, and there's a lot of snow on the ground now. Maybe he's just realizing how awful it is to go through an Ottawa winter. It's starting to get windy. It's not fun.
Yeah.
The canal's not open yet, so like.
You see, this is the point where I expose myself. I have, in my weather app, I have my location, and then, where?
So you just compare?
Yeah, I just sit and I'm just like, ooh, I wonder what's it like for Emma? And I'm like, hope she's wrapped up warm. Hope you got your coat.
Yeah, I actually have a very warm winter jacket. I'm the proud owner of a TNA Super Puff, which is like, I got it for my birthday like 4 years ago. Greatest investment ever. I didn't even buy it. My parents bought it for me because it was a gift, but that's my winter coat. It's great.
No winter coats because I forgot to bring them back after Christmas. So
honestly, I saw it was -2. I could do that without a winter coat.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's not even like the actual cold that gets me. It's just
the wind.
Yeah, it's the wind and
the rain. If it's wet, wet, cold, and windy, worst combination. Because I can do cold. Like dry cold with no wind. There's a very big difference between like -20 straight up and -20 with wind chill.
Yeah.
-20 with wind chill, always colder because the wind goes through everything. But like I can sit in -20 and just be fine. But it's when it gets windy that I'm like, this sucks.
I would have been fine for my food shop yesterday, but because it was really cold and I was in just like a jumper and a t-shirt, and I was like the bag that I have, it's like one of the reusable ones, but it's the really rough material. So when I got back, my hands were like rubbed raw.
Ooh, that's rough.
Cold. So I need to find a way to get my coat back.
Yeah. We've crossed off everything. We're now just chatting. We've hit an hour 12 minutes. No, we're under an hour 12 minutes because that little number up in the top is when I started the call, and then I sat here for 5 minutes on my own while Marcie made it.
It was 3 minutes actually, because when I went to check the message, it was like, oh, 3 minutes ago you sent the link, and I was like, that's not too bad, because I was being productive.
Actually, it was
copying and pasting pictures of Joseph Wall onto a picture of a house. So who are you to restrain and restrict my interior design passions? Hey? We have lost the plot.
We have so lost the plot, but I'm actually, you know what, what's so funny is that there's this Athletic article put together by Chris Johnson where it's just a bunch of guys you could potentially see on the trade market. And you scroll down to the bottom of this list and like you can click on them and it can tell them their market value and then their player type. And poor Pat, I always find it like just like slightly little bit insulting if you're only described as a locker room presence. That's Pat Maroon. Like if you're only described as a locker room presence, oof.
I'm out.
But honestly, also, if like you find out that you got traded for a locker room presence, I'd be embarrassed.
I'd never show my face again. Well, I wouldn't because I'd be gone.
God. But it's the same thing as getting traded for picks. But what I will say though, I think we're gonna switch. Speaking of trades, I'm sure. I hope. Brad Treliving regrets in hindsight is Sam Lafferty for a pick because it was a cap dump so that you could afford Ryan Reeves.
I'm sure I can't stop thinking about his hair.
People, I feel like definitely this was something where like when he got traded to Toronto last season that people saw like we definitely like found his the headshots he has of him with hair, and that was total. I definitely remember having that conversation, but it's so funny when you go without like you don't see them for a while and then they just like reemerge on Twitter and it's Sam Lafferty with hair. Are you looking at them now? It doesn't look real. There's some people in this world who are meant to be bald, and Sam Lafferty is one of them. Unfortunately, he's meant to be like a shiny little leg. But yeah, just anyways.
It's so wrong.
We've so lost the plot now. But I think like for Ryan, like why like Sam Lafferty 1.5 million is his cap. And I feel like every time I watch Canucks game, I feel like I watch Sam Lafferty score.
Yeah, he's always doing something.
Right? I don't know about you. On this season already in 44 games, 10 goals, 9 assists for a combined 19 points. He's at a plus 15. And you know what? Sam Lafferty? I'm going to say it. Would be the solution to the Leafs' third line issues.
Yeah. Bring him
like
home.
He's already tied his career high in goals. Not his career high. Sorry. He's 2 away from his career high in goals. last season was his career high in goals, where he scored 12. 10 with Chicago and then 2 with the Leafs.
Destined to be happy. I miss him and his shiny little bald head.
Like, think about, like, here we go. I'm just gonna name out what, because I think, like, probably worst decision Brad made. It was a bad decision when they did it. It's still a bad decision now with everything. Oh, he was how Alex Nylander got to Pittsburgh. Huh. Anyway, sorry. So traded to Toronto. So how he got to Toronto with Chicago was the Jake McCabe trade. So a conditional pick in the 2024 NHL draft and a conditional pick in the 2025 draft for Joey Anderson, Pavel Gogolev, and a conditional pick in 2025 and a second round pick in 2026. Like, I just want to the conditional, like, what the Leafs gave up to get him, and Jake McCabe, and obviously both of those guys came with term on their contracts. Both those guys came with term on their contracts. Sorry. Late game tonight, I'm drinking coffee because, was Toronto gave up a first round pick for next year's draft. It's conditional, but the conditions is that it's top 10 protected. So if the Leafs end up with a top 10 draft pick, which they won't, hopefully not, because that just means the Leafs have totally gone downhill. Yeah. For now, mind you, for Jake McCabe, with salary retained, and Sam Lafferty, but like Sam Lafferty's not there anymore, and they gave up Joey Anderson. Anyways, and then Brad turns around, and trades probably the solution to your third line issues. For a fifth, because it's a cap dump, and it's a cap dump so you can afford Ryan Reeves for the next 3 seasons. I'm sitting here trying to figure out why this works. Anyways, gonna leave you guys with that because, of course.
Think happy thoughts.
Think happy thoughts, but it's just something to think about and ponder as, we talked about it. Just to loop it back to what we talked about at the top of the show. With the Leafs third line issue. There's your solution, Brad. There it is. You got and traded him away after training camp. After the preseason. Have fun in Vancouver.
What does Brad have against bald men?
He has to be the superior bald man. I don't think Brad has hair. Does Brad have hair?
No.
He has to be the alpha bald man.
Oh, he does, but it's just a bit pathetic.
Oh, he does? Oh, yeah. Actually, no, that would make sense because his dad still has hair.
Yeah, it's just like a pathetic attempt at hair.
Jim still has hair, so.
At this point, Brad, babe, just join the eggs.
Take a page out of Mark Giordano's, which is so funny because, like, Mark Giordano, like, he didn't even have a bad head of hair.
No.
If you look at it. It's not like it was Sam Lafferty head of hair.
I'm unsettled. Am
I misremembering how bad Mark Giordano's hair was? What are we even on at this point? How far can we have lost the plot?
Quite a lot.
Oh god, I forgot about the goatee.
Yep. Oh, Mark.
Anyways, we're gonna leave you guys with that one. Sorry, guys. We're gonna have to. Marcy's gonna be put on IR due to entering concussion protocol.
Oh my God, we've actually lost it.
Although we're gonna leave you. The Leafs need to win. The Leafs need to win because we're gone. We've lost it. We've lost it.
Yeah, if the Leafs lose this one, I don't even want to think. Like, we're gonna be completely just. We're not gonna make any sense on Monday.
Monday's gonna be a disaster. Anyways, we'll be back on Monday when we break down the next 3 Leafs games. Thank you guys so much for listening. You can find the show on Twitter at From the Fourth Line. That's 4th with a 4. You can follow both me and Marcie on Twitter at 60 Leafs for Marcie and I'm Therapy 1 for myself. You can go subscribe to wherever you get your podcasts. Rate 5 stars. Yeah, we'll see you next time.